Adam Richmond, and this is Man vs. Food. I'm on a never-ending quest for the toughest eating challenges on the planet. Discovery Channel had an anaconda eat a wildlife filmmaker while wearing a snake-proof suit. That sounds like a challenge I'm down for.
All right, Adam, this is the Anaconda Challenge. You've got 30 minutes to eat the entire anaconda, all 4 baby anaconda sliders, and the French fries. Good luck.
Let's do this. This anaconda don't want none, unless you got buns, hon. The sliders are salty, delicious, briny. Oh, don't worry, you're next. Give me first alive! Come on, first now!
I don't know a lot about sports, but I can drink a lot of beer.
My motto is simple. C's get degrees.
Need a long, inappropriate hug? I'm your man.
I think I'm smarter than you, because I probably am.
Howard Coward for box score. Hello and welcome to Box Score. I'm Brock in Los Angeles, joined by the Danettes in Milford, Connecticut. No Dan Patrick today as the boss was out sick. Paulie, at what time did you get the call that you were going to have to go find a guest host?
Oh, boy, maybe 10:30 p.m. Eastern. Sam Flood, who runs Football Night in America. Dan actually 3 hours earlier said, I got what Fritzy has, which means the flu. Sam Flood, who produces Football Night in America, texted during the middle of his broadcast, which is pretty surreal. He's in the middle of a pretty big show. Said, call me now. And I thought there was something, I actually got a little scared. For about 10 seconds, I was like, I was worried that something really, really bad happened. And then I got hold of Sam. And it's funny how producers talk. Phone rings, he goes, yeah, Dan's sick. He didn't say hi, hello, how you doing, because there's no time for that. He goes, yeah, Dan's really sick. He's got a bad flu. He barely made it through halftime. I don't think he's going to make it in tomorrow. So if I can help you guys plan a fill-in, Mike Florio is here. He could do it. You could also call Mannix, which is, it was great for Sam to take a minute out of his schedule because he's in the middle of a show. And you know, he basically told Mike Florio, you might be on standby. You know, Mike's an employee of Sam's. But they also suggested Chris Mannix, who are the first 2 people we would call anyway. Right. But Sam knows it, so it was very helpful in the moment.
Fritzy, how many times have you texted Dan to apologize for getting him sick?
I've sent him a few notes. It was mainly to see how he's feeling, but I haven't officially taken complete ownership that I'm responsible for him getting sick. But
by the way, Dan called you soft about 20 times when you were out.
Yeah, there was some of that, and but.
He also mentioned they were the best shows. Remember, he kept saying that?
Yeah, the 2 days I was out last week, he said were 2 of the best
you
shows.
You should say tomorrow.
History.
You got to say tomorrow to him, that was the best show we've had in months.
I'm confident I should do that. I'm confident he'll be in tomorrow, if nothing else, but to prove to me that if we have the same exact thing, that I'm the softer one because I was out 2 days and he'd only be out 1 day. If he was not to be here tomorrow, then he loses a big leg to stand on because then it would be a push if he waits till Wednesday.
But now you can look at it this way, Fritzy. This could be a good thing for you. If you would have stayed home as well a 3rd day, your virus could have gone away at home, and you would not have brought that infestation into Dan and Dan's studio, getting our host sick, our meal ticket sick.
I thought I was, maybe I was. I thought I was well enough to come in for Thursday and Friday, and again, I sincerely hope that somehow I didn't transmit something that I had.
Nobody at his house has it.
Dan. I don't know. It's very unfortunate. We hope he's feeling better. And again, if I had in any way had anything to do with him,
you want to apologize to anyone who was offended by this?
Yes, I'm going to apologize to all parties involved, and hopefully Dan will get a lot of rest and will be in the hosting chair tomorrow morning and prove to me that I only needed to miss 1 day last week instead of 2.
All right, well, as we let the guilt pour over you, Fritzy, one man who actually may be sick to his stomach is Baylor coach Art Briles, and he talked about the lack of Southern representation on the CFB committee.
You know, they're dealing with the whole nation, the committee, and they're in a tough spot. But I think there certainly needs equal representation, you know, throughout the United States. And I think if you looked at the committee, you know, I think most of them are tied up a little bit more to the north than they are to the south. And now Archie Manning was on the committee, and Archie would have been a great voice, you know, for this part of the nation because he knows football first and foremost, but he knows this part of the United States. So when he, you know, had his issues and wasn't able to be on the committee, I felt like we were in a little bit of trouble. Felt like we lost a big voice down here.
You know, I put this quote out there on Twitter, and a lot of people said, oh, Southern football not getting any love? Meanwhile, we have ESPN with an SEC bias the entire season. But I've looked at the committee because I'm a Baylor fan, and it's got guys like Barry Alvarez, Tom Osborne, who's now, part of a Big Ten program with Nebraska. It's got Tyrone Willingham, who ran like the slowest offense in the history of the planet. It's got all these old pro-style coaches who they don't have the slightest idea what Baylor is doing. I'm a big advocate here, so they like the ground and pound Ohio State. Actually, Ohio State runs a wild spread too, but they don't like. I don't know, Oregon's in the top 4 too, but they don't get Baylor. I'm telling you this right now.
Other than that,
they just don't get Baylor. Baylor would go out there and if any of those teams in the top 4 weren't careful, Baylor would be up 38-0 at the end of the first quarter. Baylor's an unusual team.
He's saying that there's no Southern representation, but Alabama and Florida State are in the Final Four. It's like from where I'm sitting.
By the way,
part of the South.
but that being said, they screwed Florida State all season long. How could Florida State be number 4 while they're undefeated? If nobody from the South would put them there.
What I thought was
the Northerners.
The funniest part for me was Art Briles is saying, I don't like that there's people from other parts of the country who are biased towards other parts of the country. And man, I wish we had our guy who is biased towards our side of the country back. So he's not in favor of biased guys who aren't biased for him, but he would be in favor of Archie Manning, who he said would basically be more favorable to Southern schools. You can't say I'm against bias and then not unless it's for me.
Well, yeah, but wait, Paul, I mean, you don't think Barry Alvarez has a huge impact? Minnesota was ranked like 7 spots higher than they were in the AP by this committee. It's so clearly a Big Ten bias committee. I am sorry. I'll say that to America on the box score. The committee favors the Big Ten. It should be disbanded. I'm dead serious. Go back to the computers. I hated the committee.
Wow.
I hated the work they did all year long.
I tend to agree with McLovin. I wish they would have gone to a 4-team playoff and kept the exact same BCS formula take random opinions out of it. Whether you agree with an opinion or not, as long as it's one formatted opinion. And the BCS has almost zero opinion because of the weight of the coaches poll. And the coaches poll isn't all willy-nilly, and they don't judge it. They judge it from week to week.
Paul, if I'm correct, the BCS brought in several forms of polling, right?
They brought in several forms of polling, where
so
like the Harris poll, the AP, so there no one poll could dominate, so no one entity could dominate and sway things a certain way.
Right, because there's a mentality when you get 14 people in a room, naturally one personality is going to take that over. So it's less, all of a sudden this is the most like biased poll committee of all time.
It's kind of like when you're filling out your NCAA bracket, right? And it's like those early rounds where it's like Minnesota versus like Jimmy Lipper State, and you're like, well, I never heard of Jimmy Lipper State, so I'm going to go with Minnesota because I heard of them before. Right? So, like, you look at all of these teams, like, traditional powers, well, like, of course Ohio State's the better team. They have to be in, right?
Yeah, they're Ohio State.
It's the only natural to have a certain amount of that bias.
Or you could do this. You could have the same committee, but no discussion. You put in your vote every week. You don't speak to the other people on the committee. So Condoleezza Rice doesn't speak to Barry Alvarez and have one of them sway their opinions. Because what if Condoleezza Rice says Ohio State should be 8th? Barry Alvarez says, no, they should be 3rd. Someone has to change their mind to get to a final. Otherwise just walk in the room and vote. And then why would you have discussion? Because the vote would be, you take the votes, you pull them together, you extract the 4. And if you do discussion, that means people are changing their opinion, not based off the games, but based on other people.
So we figured it out, basically. Good job, guys.
Nice job.
Good job. I won't touch your hands because you're sick.
But there has to be at least the appearance of debate, how much that goes on or not. But it's just like, just like a jury. Imagine a group all sitting there and, individually not talking to one another in a room, making their individual picks. So, I wish we were a fly on the wall to hear what the.
Well, first of all, I already said the jury thing. I think like the steam ran out on all that, and we were ready to move on to the next topic. I mean, seriously.
It's like earlier today, had this great, Seton had this great idea for the Super Bowl promos. Really great. He just laid it out, hit the idea right on, and then what did Fritzy say, Seton?
I thought I agreed with that.
Well, no, you basically said, hey, why don't we do it like this, and laid out exactly what I just said.
Okay.
And it didn't really come across as like, hey, it was a funny way of saying, I agree with you. It was more like I just thought of this.
Oh, that's not how it was meant to come out.
Wow. So it didn't mean intend.
I was trying to be supportive of Seton's idea and agreeing that makes sense to go in that direction.
Which is not the same as what was that thing you did the other day where a caller called you at 11:52 with an idea?
Yeah. Oh, well, that I just wasn't paying attention because I was like, one, I wasn't doing the calls that day. Two's was, so I could just sit and be on the internet and I was trying to look up something or whatever, and I'm not paying attention.
What was the fact that the guy said?
It's Alice Cooper. Was like, I'm like, Alice Cooper. Like, yeah, they just said that. Oh, okay.
Okay, well done, gentlemen. Coming up, the guys play 2-on-2 with Mannix, and Fritzy goes 1-on-1 with Chris Rock.
Mr. Schultz.
Oh, you like that? Oh, that's off. Oh no, don't go in. Do not go in. Yeah!
We are back here on the box score. That's Paulie going all Jimmy Chitwood on Mannix there. Did you foresee Chris asking for a rematch when he came in today?
You know, yes, he's a very competitive guy. You know, to lose in a stunning fashion as Seton and I last year obviously hurt him, and he's been dealing with that pain and anguish for almost a year now. So, yeah.
Well, you gave it to the old ball boy. He asked for it. He got it. Here it is, round 2 in its entirety.
Were you trying to post me up?
Yeah, check it out.
All right, big turnover.
That was reach. That was not a reach.
Throw it over the top.
Come on. Height. Oh, elbow. Go. Double team. Shoot it.
All the way, no. Back up, no.
Good rebound.
We're going to lose, aren't we?
You had your.
Oh, that's a foul.
Damn net!
Ball. See.
You guys have a chance.
Another win.
There, Stone Cold, we're 2-0. I don't really know what I could add. I mean, I think the tape speaks for itself. 2-0, team front row.
I think we really increased our defensive pressure this year. That was a big thing for us in the offseason.
We were much more efficient, too, on offense. My shot selection was a little better. So.
I think we were 1 for 1.
Yeah, we went.
I keep telling Chris, why do we keep playing the 1? And he's like, well, I don't want it to take too long. I'm like, we're not going anywhere. We have 9 more look-ins. Let's go to 3.
In both
just
of those
give us
games,
a better
though,
chance.
Like in both of those games, though, you guys should have won. You had like wide open shots that were basically easy to hit, but somehow
Mannix
choked.
was right there under the basket. I don't know how he didn't put that right
Yeah,
back up.
and that's a tough matchup for me because he's tall and good at basketball, and I'm not and not.
That's a matchup we're trying to exploit. Because once again, let me say, Chris is good at basketball and you're not.
Right.
That's where we saw the X's and O's
Which
advantage.
makes, I think, our 2-0 record against you two, who one's a ball boy for the Celtics, one played major college basketball. The 2-0 record, I think, it is bigger than what it actually
It's
is.
kind of like Villanova beat Georgetown twice.
Right, Villanova Junior College.
I sort of addressed what I think we're exploiting in the box today, actually, when I was talking about the game, and that it's clear that you and Chris are better basketball players than me and Paulie, and you guys know that, and we know that, so you walk onto the court thinking like, well, we're gonna win because we're better than these guys. But what you're not taking into account is that you and Chris spend the whole day bickering at each other, that then all of a sudden you're supposed to play as a team.
No chemistry.
There's no chemistry there. Me and Paulie work together every day. There's chemistry. It's built in. I know what he's doing, where he's going.
That's
you and
good point.
Chris.
We're secretly rooting against each other on the same team.
Yeah.
Like subconsciously, I missed
You
that
don't want to
jumper.
pass the ball right because you don't want him to hit the winning shot. You have to hit
then
the winning
you
shot to be the
lose.
winner, and vice versa. It's just
Plus, Seton and I know in our physical condition, we only have 1 basket in us. And playing on a 10-by-10 court to 1, we go all out for 40 to 50 seconds.
What if you think what if like you guys train for 6 months and we move the game up to say 2? 3?
I don't
2 you'd win, by the way.
This
2
is
would not be enough.
This is like the 4-team playoff. Let it run its course for a couple more years. If you guys happen to steal a victory in one of these 1-on-1 to 1 games, then we'll think about changing it. Gotta hurt.
Rough day for you, McLovin and Mannix, and a rough day for Fritzy on Friday. How relieved were you that you finally got Chris Rock to come on?
I was very relieved. I was still disappointed that it didn't happen when it was supposed to on Friday. But I guess the next best thing is that Chris Rock still found a way to make it on the show, and I had to just deal with that.
Well, DP not in today, but you guys did play the pre-taped interview, which meant we got to see Fritzy do Chris Rock. This has to be unnerving. Do Chris Rock for Chris Rock.
We got so much food in America, we allergic to it. We allergic to food, allergic to food. Hungry people ain't allergic to anything. You think anyone in Rwanda's got a lactose intolerance? I'm watching the news. Tupac Shakur was assassinated. Biggie Smalls assassinated, struck down by assassin's bullets. No, they wasn't. Martin Luther King was assassinated. John F. Kennedy was assassinated. Them two got shot. I love Tupac and Biggie, but school be open on their birthday.
You know, school was open on Tupac's birthday. There was a little talk about closing it, but, you know.
Yeah, that was pretty amazing. Once again, Dan making dreams come true. A while back, he let me do an impersonation of Adam Sandler for Sandler, and Chris Rock. Other than George Carlin, Chris Rock is by far my favorite comedian. The hardest I ever laughed was listening to Rock and Carlin. To be able to at least attempt an impersonation of Chris Rock for him on national radio and TV, it was awesome. And Chris was a good sport about it, and hopefully it sounded remotely like him. But it was cool personally to be able to get the opportunity.
It was great. Good job on your part. Paulie, before we go to break, how happy are you that Landon Donovan won the MLS Cup in his last game?
I mean, it's one of those things where I'm a fan of his, obviously. Oh, boy. But, you know, he's had a great career, and...
See how these little hearts
Stick around. The guys battle for the mock
He said something about Landon Donovan.
championship belt. He is so in love. He is so in love. Stick around. The guys battle for the mock headline championship belt. I mean, he's so enamored. Landon, where's my lunchbox? We are back here on the box score. The weekend is over. Monday is here. Let's start this thing off right. Grab your pens and papers, write some funny stuff down, and in the words of Big John McCarthy, let's get it on!
Mock headline battle royale.
You know the drill. I give you a headline, you give me a mock headline. The first headline: LA Galaxy win their 5th MLS Cup as Landon Donovan plays his final game. Paulie, you're his best friend. Please start us off.
Donovan. Landon single-handedly leads Galaxy to 5th title.
That's it for your Landon Donovan headline?
Fritzy, you are up.
Oh, wait a minute. Hold on a second.
Oh, yes, yeah.
You can't do anything single-handedly in soccer, because that would be with your feet.
So he basically carried the team all by himself to the title.
And how many goals did he have in that game?
Well, none technically. Technically, he did.
Assists and such?
None. On the scorecard, none.
So, by him carrying them single-handedly to victory, that means...
he was a decoy and let everyone else score,
Because
sharing.
he takes so much attention.
There you go.
Interesting. Okay, sorry.
Sorry, he was shirtless, too. Fritzy, your headline.
Let's land in the plane on this. It's really his last match this time.
Cheers.
By the way, it's really Donovan on there.
Paulie already used that. So
Just for the record, he did have the same headline as Paulie and audibled at the last second.
What is policy, Brock? What is policy on mid-game changes of a headline if it's already written down?
We'll be making that up on the fly.
Donovan,
your headline.
Infinity, not only the number of stars in the galaxy, but also the number of farewell games for Landon.
Nice.
Ooh.
That's a shot.
I don't totally get the Infinity reference.
Yeah, Stephen Hawking.
That goes on forever.
Stephen Hawking's best friend, McLovin. What do you have?
This isn't actually necessarily a headline, it's more of a statement. Now that Donovan's done playing soccer, he can go home and use his hands all day. What?
That's fun. Masturbation joke?
No, it was carpentry.
Oh.
Carpentry.
Not more masturbation soccer.
Second headline: Alabama, Oregon, Florida State, and Ohio State make their first ever CFB playoff. Fritzy, it's all yours, Big Daddy.
Miso Horned Frog. Even if your team didn't make it, you should still be excited.
Oh! That headline is too buku. Seton, what do you have?
This is probably my worst one. College football payoff. Made-for-TV generation upset about made-for-TV event. Don't really know what that is. Except that there's like...
It's kind of true, though.
Kind of angry. McLovin.
Final Foreskin. Baylor gets cut from Final Four in Brisk's TV announcement. Yes!
Brisk?
Wow. Well, if you could have snuck in Moyle somewhere in there, that would have been all over.
Wow.
Yeah, a feeling of bris. Paulie.
Yeah.
From the Todd Fritz collection, TCU. Horned Frogs leaped by Buckeyes. Frogs leaped.
See what you did there?
Third headline. Rams send out the 6 players they acquired in the RG3 trade for the coin toss before routing the Redskins. Seton, you have the floor.
How many players does it take to screw over a franchise? RG3 times 2.
Beat McLovin to the math punch.
I'm not
McLovin.
Spirit of St. Louis, question mark? Try snarky.
That smells of
Spirit of St.
Lindbergh
Louis?
cheese.
You don't know what the Spirit of St. Louis is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the spirit in St. Louis? It's snarky. They made a snarky joke by sending out the 6 guys.
Oh, I got it now.
Paulie, save us.
Steve and I had very similar headlines. Mine's a little bit different. RG3 times 2 equals us kicking your ass. Same vein.
I agree. Fritzy.
Did you wash that? Kind of grude, don't you think? Washington Redskins, Jay Gruden.
They're rioting.
Final
Very
headline.
angry mob.
Bills snap Peyton Manning's streak of 51 straight games with at least 1 touchdown pass. McLovin, what do you have?
Buffalo wing and a prayer. Bills get away with using 12 defenders throughout game to slow Peyton Manning. Now, I haven't seen the tape yet, but I'm assuming there were 12 defenders. So I don't know. I haven't seen all 22 cameras yet.
Wow, I didn't go with that.
Paulie.
Peyton Manning's streak stopped by the Bills. In other news, Papa John stops home delivery in Buffalo, New York area. Corporate humor.
Fritzy.
Time to start another streak.
Yeah, okay, nationwide.
Chicken parm, tastes so good.
Doesn't that make you want a chicken parm? Though? That looks like a good sandwich.
It does. He's enjoying himself in the kitchen there.
Yeah.
See it and wrap up this chicken parm.
Peyton Manning, NFL to change rules again in wake of gross injustice to a living legend. Worse.
Oh, the winner of this week's mock headline championship belt is Todd Fritz.
Wow.
Foreskin should have put you in as a
You would
strong
think.
contender.
We should
What was the second one that we all liked?
Miso Horn Frog.
Yeah.
Don't go away. We wrap it up here with the Danette Football Night in America Challenge. We are closing up shop here on the box score. Last night was a battle between the Patriots and the San Diego Superchargers. We asked the guys and myself who would throw for the most yardage. Would it be Rivers or Brady? Let's find out as we wrap up this Week 14 edition of
The Danette Football Night in America Challenge.
To recap, Paulie, McLovin, and I believe Fritzy all went with Rivers, and Seton and I went with Tom Brady. And the man who threw for the most yardage, let's see, it was Tom Brady threw for more yardage. Actually capped it off with a 69-yard touchdown pass to Julian Edelman. Seton, you've picked up 4 points in the last 2 weeks. You think you can keep this hot streak going?
Good Lord willing. Good Lord willing, yeah.
All right, well, so it's down to Seton and I for closest to the hole. Seton, you went with 350 yards. I went with 341 yards, and the Heartthrob QB threw for 317 yards, which means I claim the bonus point for closest to the pin. Fritz, you're on the record for being anti-Phillip Rivers. Do you regret going with him this week?
Don't regret going with him. I enjoyed a number of moments throughout the game, which started pretty early on, where he was whining and crying, complaining. I think he was yelling at one of his offensive linemen after he got sacked. And I did take, even though I'm like very much in the last place in our contest here, I took a lot of pleasure in seeing Phillip Rivers crying.
Do you think Phillip Rivers is watching right now, laughing at you? He's a big fan of the box score.
He could be. He could very well be. But he could also look high up at the Broncos, now 2 games ahead in the American Football Conference Western Division, which was very nice to see with just 3 regular season games left. So he's going to be whining with the Chiefs for a while as they watch Denver continue to climb.
Is that called the Western Division?
AFC West. Or the Western Division.
The AFC West. Well, let's look at our standings as the Broncos are on the top there. I am on the top of this contest with 10 points. Seton, you're in tie with Paulie for second, and McLovin, you're now in third with 7. Fritzy, you're bringing up the rear with a grand total of 5 points. McLovin, your hot streak has cooled off. You think you can regain your mojo in the final 3 weeks?
Probably not.
Well, we had a 3-parter this week, and another bonus point was going to be awarded to whoever guessed Tom Brady's post-game wardrobe. If we can, let's take a look at this
Ooh,
gorgeous
this is what I
outfit.
care about.
No one called black V-neck, so the point will not be awarded this week. Paulie, can you talk us through this outfit? What was he thinking here?
Wait a minute. Hold on 1 second. I want to say somebody on the panel though said that he would go no jacket, didn't they?
Is that enough?
I mean, that's got to be
I
worth
said
half a
V-neck
point.
sweatshirt.
First of all, that outfit's an embarrassment. Just because you're going to LA or going to San Diego doesn't mean phone it in. I don't know what's going on there. It's like no T-shirt underneath.
Sort of urban casual.
I don't know. I would love to see more of a up and down shot to see if he's got some like herringbone pants on that make up for it. But I don't. That's embarrassing, Tom.
Well, but
I'd rather lose than wear that outfit.
I mean, even if there is controversy, let's face it, it's getting towards the end of the show. The graphic guys are pretty drunk by right now, so
Right.
to have them redo the score would be
Fair
hard.
enough.
It'll be a mess.
Yeah.
Let's ignore the results.
Well, let's not ask him to do that. What I will ask you, Fritzy, is who's on tomorrow?
Reggie Miller will join us tomorrow. Hopefully Dan Patrick will be hosting tomorrow. And we may hear from Tony Dungy, and we're working on a bunch of other stuff as always. But right now, Reggie and maybe Tony.
All right, thank you, gentlemen, and thank you for watching The Box Score. Catch us weekdays at 3 p.m. Eastern right here on Audience, Channel 239, home of The Dan Patrick Show. Also, catch the podcast available on iTunes or at podcast1.com. Frederica.
I don't know a lot about sports, but I can drink a lot of beer.
My motto is simple. C's get degrees.
Need a long, inappropriate hug? I'm your man.
I think I'm smarter than you, because I probably am.
Hey, thanks for watching The Box Score. Holy cow!